Hi, everybody. Welcome to English Digest. I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
And our TOEIC unit continues, and we're talking about interior design. Now, some of you might be considering a career in interior design. So if you go to whatever university you choose to go to and you get the appropriate degree, you'll probably, if you're lucky, be hired by some interior design firm. And you will be maybe a partner or a designer there. And then you'll probably encounter a situation like this where you are making a proposal to a potential client and they have to choose between you and other interior design firms.
We're going to be talking, though, today about a letter of agreement that was issued between the design company, Urban Redesign, and the clients, Amanda, Dennis, and Kelsey, and what that refers to. You're going to see some legal jargon, you could say, and we'll talk about what some of those words mean. But first, we're going to read through this letter of agreement.
This agreement is between interior designers Evan Whitfield and Marcy Zhang of Urban Redesign and client Amanda Jones of AMC Incorporated, hereafter referred to as the designer and the client respectively. The purpose of this letter is to define the services and payment schedule agreed upon by each party. This letter confirms that the designer has been hired to complete interior design services at the client's address, 213 Zhongxiao East Road, Section 2, Taipei City. The overall fee of 720,000 NT dollars paid to the designer no later than January 31st, 2018 will cover the following: all concept designs and floor plans, selections of fabrics, furniture, paint, and other materials, observation of on-site installations, preparation of budget and project schedules, all other design-related criteria. Additional services will be billed to the client at an hourly rate of 620 NT dollars. All design purchases made on behalf of the client will be submitted to the client for signed approval before payment. All drawings, floor plans, and schedules will remain the property of the designer. The designer reserves the right to take photographs of the design space for publicity purposes. Any photographs of the design space published by the client must name and credit the designer. This agreement may be terminated by either party for any reason provided 10 days written notice has been given.
Okay, let's look at this, a letter of agreement for interior design. If you are in business and you want to have a more formal contract other than just a handshake, we have things called verbal agreements, which means that you and another party decide to work together and it's all done through a handshake, and that's actually legal. But this is where you actually have signatures on a piece of paper stating what each partner will do or each party will do. Party here just means side. So we've got two different sides here. We've got the three Amanda, Dennis, Kelsey people who are remodeling their office. And then we've got the interior design company, Urban Redesign. Instead of saying we're going to draw up a contract, and we actually use that word draw up, they've actually decided to have a letter of agreement, which is something that a lot of companies or industries use instead of a contract. It's the same thing, though, and it has the force of a contract. So if someone breaks their word or doesn't do what they're supposed to according to this letter of agreement, you can sue them and take them to court.
That's right, and you probably get more money than you were originally going to get. But who wants to do that? Let's just get the job done, and hopefully this letter of agreement will make sure such things as going to court don't happen. So this is a letter of agreement for interior design. This agreement is between interior designers Evan Whitfield and Marcy Zhang of Urban Redesign. Remember, that's one of the firms that they were considering. It looks like they like the idea from Urban Redesign. Specifically, they like the ideas from the interior designers of that company, Evan Whitfield and Marcy Zhang. Okay, so they presented some proposals that they liked. So they are the designers, And then Amanda Jones is the client. Okay, so the agreement is between the interior designers and the client, Amanda Jones of AMC Incorporated, hereafter referred to as the designer, and the client, respectively. So this is the client or the customer of the designers. They are hiring the designers to do their office renovations. They're going to do it, and Amanda Jones, I guess, is the CEO or the boss of this particular company. Their company is called AMC. And, of course, the other people were, Dennis and
Kelsey.
And Kelsey. So they're all kind of part of this team here. But, yeah, those are, it's kind of too complicated to keep mentioning those names. So we're going to say, okay, hereafter, from this point forward in this letter, we're going to refer to the designers as the designer and the client. We're not going to say their names. That's just too wordy, too verbose. So basically, this agreement is between the designers and the client, respectively.
Yeah, actually, most contracts do this because they want to simplify the names that they're calling each side or each party. I've had contracts here in Taiwan where I've written things for clients, and they will refer to us as such and such after they state who they are at the beginning. So as Tom said, hereafter is very legal. It's a word we use in contracts a lot. It just means from now on. And here they're going to refer to them as the designer and the client respectively. Respectively is a word we use in writing. I don't usually say it if I'm just speaking casually, but respectively means we're going to refer to them in the order that we mentioned them originally or at the first. So the designer, of course, would be Evan Whitfield and Marcy Zhang, and the client would be Amanda Jones of AMC Inc.
Right, so respectively here I could say, instead of saying Peter is going to have pizza and Mary is going to have fried chicken, I can say Peter and Mary are going to have pizza and fried chicken respectively, okay? So you don't need to say those things individually. You can say the names first and then the things or the objects and then just add the word respectively at the end to basically shorten what you're saying. But like you said, this is mostly used in writing.
Yeah, because it's hard for people to actually remember which came first or second if you're just talking to them casually. So we don't do it if we're having a conversation.
So you'll see this word, of course, used in contracts a lot. And the purpose of this letter is to define the services and payment schedule agreed upon by each party. So that's the purpose of this letter. That's why we're writing this letter. We need to define the services. To define just means to actually describe or indicate the nature of something, the characteristics of something. You can define a word, for example. Hey, that's kind of what I'm doing right now. I am defining the word define. What's the definition of this word? But in this particular case, they are listing the services. They're saying what those services are and what they include. We are defining them, giving them meaning.
Yeah, and here we're running into that word party that I had used earlier. The party just means one side of some sort of agreement or negotiation process. So this letter confirms that the designer has been hired to complete interior design services at the client's address, 213 Zhengxiao East Road. A lot of times we'll say the number of an address this way, 213. We like to do that too. My home address in America is 1712, but we say 1712. We like to do that. We like to do that with hotel rooms as well. If your hotel room is four numbers like 2525, we'd say 2525. Room 2525. We'll do that a lot, so just be prepared in advance.
It's kind of the opposite as in Chinese. I guess you have to learn this one by one. But in any case here, like if you say it in Chinese, of course, it's Taipei Shi Zhongxiao Donglu R Duan R Isan Hao, something like that. But in English, of course, we like to put the number at the front, as you mentioned here. So, of course, they're talking about the interior design services at the address of the client on Zhongxiao Donglu, Zhongxiao East Road in good old Taipei City, Taiwan. Now, the overall fee of 720,000 NT dollars paid to the designer no later than January 31st, 2018 will cover the following. And we'll talk about what the fee covers in just a second here. But first of all, let's define the word overall. That means the fee that includes everything. It's the overall fee. It includes everything. It's not just for part of something, and there's not another fee for something else. No, this is the overall fee. It's supposed to cover everything.
Yeah, you could simply say the total fee. So be aware of that. The total fee or the grand total of can be used as well. So overall just means taking everything into account. 720,000 NT dollars. Woohoo! Paid to the designer no later than January 31st, 2018. Usually in a contract or in a letter of agreement, you'll also have the terms of payment. That's really important. When you're supposed to be paid and what will happen if that doesn't happen on time. So what does it cover or what does it include? Cover just means include here. All design, concept designs and floor plans. So they're going to actually sketch out the layout for you. Nowadays, they do them on computer, which is really fast and easy, and it's nice to look at it that way. They're also going to help select all the fabrics, furniture, paint, and other materials. Notice here fabrics is usually a non-count noun, but we can put an S on it like we can with bread or even fruit when we have different types of that thing being talked about. Maybe they're going to be talking about fabric that's used to upholster a sofa or a chair. That's very heavy fabric. Or maybe there's fabric for a pillow, which is lighter. So there are different types of fabrics. That's the only time you'd put an S on that. Furniture, of course, is non-count. Paint is non-count. And other materials. So you've got a lot of things this is going to cover.
Right, all the materials basically to do these renovations.
Yeah.
This fee also includes observation of on-site installations. Observation means when people just kind of sit back and look at things and they learn things from them, or they simply make sure things are going the way they're supposed to, or what's supposed to be done is getting done.
I wanted to mention that this bid or fee doesn't include the price of the materials. It's the selection. They're interior designers. They're not going to pay for the new fabrics that you need or the furniture or the paint. You have to pay out of pocket. That's separate. An interior designer can include the cost of those things, but it has to be stated very clearly. Here it just says selections of these things because, you know, you want their opinion because they're good at this stuff. They're also going to prepare a budget and project schedules to keep you, going according to the timeline. We often call a project schedule in business, we call it a Gantt chart. G-A-N-T-T chart. Gantt chart. It's the name of the guy who invented it, but it's just a timeline with different milestones that you want to reach as you go along in the project. Now, it also includes all other design-related criteria. Criteria is the plural form of the word criterion. I think some people think criteria is singular, but it's not. It's a plural word. Criterion is a principle or standard by which something is going to be judged or decided. So they're going to handle anything that has to do with design, which requires them to use their great talents at picking out the most, stylish looking things together. Putting things together is a talent.
Okay, so if you have an office that you want to be renovated for 720,000 NT dollars, all those things can be yours. Now, additional services will be billed to the client at an hourly rate of 620 NT dollars. So if during the process of the renovations something else needs to be done that they're not sure about right now, then the clients will be given an hourly fee, an hourly rate of 620 NT dollars per hour. That's a lot more than you can make working part-time at a convenience store.
True. All design purchases made on behalf of the client will be submitted to the client for signed approval before payment. Remember I said they weren't going to pay for the fabrics and the furniture and the paint themselves as the interior designers. Nope. That would be a separate purchase. So they'll pick out what they think would look best for the client and then present that to the client for approval. approval on behalf of someone just means you're doing it for them. You're representing them. You're standing in for someone, just as sort of a substitute. So if you submit something to a client, you give it to them. We use submit a lot when we're talking about invoices and stuff. I need to submit this to the client for payment, to give it to the client officially. And if you want to get assigned approval, it just means they're agreeing that you can go ahead and buy something for them on their behalf, that they'll pay the bill later.
Approval's the noun. To approve is the verb. The client has to approve of these purchases before these additional services can be performed. Now, all drawings, floor plans, and schedules will remain the property of the designer. That's also part of their agreement. The drawings, I guess the blueprints and stuff like that, the floor plans and the schedules, the project schedules, all of those are going to remain the property of the designer. The designer gets to keep those, and the designer reserves the right to take photographs of the design space for publicity purposes. So after we finish our renovations, we'd like to take pictures of our work. Okay, we reserve the right to do that. You can't stop us from taking pictures of our renovations because we want to use them for publicity purposes. Publicity just means promoting yourself, giving out information to other people so they might be interested in your products or services.
So any photographs that are taken of the design space and published by the client must name and credit the designer. They want people to know that they did the design work because it's great. Free publicity, which is awesome. And if you give credit to somebody, you give acknowledgement or public acknowledgement or praise, and you let people know that someone's responsible for something. So they wanted their pictures to be published, but they also wanted their name to be published, saying, we did this work and it's beautiful. This agreement may be terminated by either party for any reason, provided 10 days written notice has been given. If you terminate something, you end it forever. So a contract or an agreement can be terminated. We often use this word to talk about when a company fires somebody. Yeah, he was terminated last week. Yeah, it's pretty sad. But you bring something to an end if you terminate it. Provided here is different than we usually see. It just means you can terminate the contract if you give 10 days written notice if 10 days written notice has been given. You can't terminate the contract unless or until you give them 10 days written notice.
Right, so you've got to have a good reason for this, and you've got to tell them 10 days ahead of time so that the agreement can be terminated.
Yeah.
Everybody goes their separate ways. Nobody's sad. Nobody's going to take someone to court and sue them for breach of contract, and everybody will be happy. And I guess they'll have to start from square one. Once again, find a new interior designer. But hopefully this contract spells things out, and they'll all agree to all of the details of this contract, and AMC will have a wonderfully newly designed office. We wish them the best of luck. Okay, that brings us to the end of our explanation. We need to hear from our Chinese teacher now, but we'll come back in a few seconds and have some discussion questions.
Hello everyone, my name is Tina. 我们来看一下今天的第一段第一个句子提到 This agreement is between interior designers Evan Whitfield and Marcy John of Urban Redesign and client Amanda Jones of AMC Incorporated, hereafter referred to as the designer and the client respectively.这个句子很重要，它是放在协议书里面最前面的说明 agreement 也就是协议书的意思，它是谁跟谁之间的协议呢？你要找到 between A and B， 但是在这里的 interior designers 有两位，一个叫做 Evan Whitfield， 一个是 Marcy John， 他们都属于 Urban Redesign 这家公司，所以呢，那么他们是属于这些室内设计师跟他们的 client， 也就是他们的客户 Amanda Jones of AMC Incorporated 之间的一个协议书。我们来看一下 client 在这里呢是解释成为委托人或者是顾客的意思。 举个例子来说，多年以来，他一直是我们银行的重要客户，你就可以说 He has been a valued client of our bank for many years。而这个 Amanda 呢，则是这2位设计师的客户。然后呢，在后面的句子还用了一个副词 hereafter， 在这里是指此后。从这个现在开始之后呢，好，然后这边还有一个 VPP 表被动 refer to as， 这2造双方呢就被指称为是 the designer 以及 the client客户 respectively， 很重要的副词解释成为分别的各自的。再举一个例子来说， The sales clerks and the teachers got pay rises of 6% and 9% respectively， 代表店员跟教师他们的薪资分别增加6%和9%，把 respectively 放在句尾就强调它是个别的分开的意思。这样看懂了这份协议书是谁跟谁之间的协议书了吗？接着我们来看到第2段谈到费用相关。The overall fee of $720,000 NT paid to the designer no later than January 31st, 2018 will cover the following。在这里提到 the overall fee 从头到尾的费用 overall 当作形容词就是指总括的从头到尾的。The overall situation is worsening 代表呢整体的情势呢在日益恶化当中。不过在这里提到的是 the overall fee 整体的费用呢包括了是72万台币paid to the designer 要被付给这个设计师，而且不迟于呢这个预定的时间。真正的动词will cover the following 这些费用呢会包含以下的服务。 cover 在这里当作动词就是有包含或者是适用于什么的意思。举个例子来说，他读的书啊包含了很多样的学科，你就可以说 His reading covers a wide range of subjects。接着我们来看到中间的句子提到呢，他们所要设计空间所要买的这些采购的东西。All design purchases made on behalf of the client will be submitted to the client for signed approval before payment。 当然设计师在采购之前他所做的每一笔 purchase， 在这里的 purchase 用来当作名词就是购买的意思。 To make a purchase 所以呢就是去采买，在这里的 made 是 VPP 表被动，所有需要设计所采买的被进行采买的动作是 on behalf of the client， 都是代表着客户的身份所进行的采买呢，都必须要经过在付钱之前要有客户的 signed approval。 这里从字面上的意思来说，就是要有签名同意才准许去买这些东西。各位同学，在这里的 will be submitted to 也就是呢必须要获得这样提交给这个客户有签名的许可。接着我们来看到倒数第2段中间的句子提到 The designer reserves the right to take photographs of the design space for publicity purposes。 在这里提到呢，设计师 reserves 他保留这个权利呢，可以拍照他所设计的空间。 For 表示原因， for publicity purposes 为了他要做一些宣传的目的使用。Publicity 可以指的是公众的名声，譬如说有些人会透过报纸来得到一些公众的名声或宣传，我们可以说 to gain publicity through papers， 最后提到 This agreement may be terminated by either party for any reason provided 10 days written notice has been given. 那么契约合约当然可以终止，但是必须要在10天前提供书面的通知。在这里的 provided 那么后面加上子句，就是以这个为条件，必须要有10 days written notice 10天前书面通知，有这样的条件，契约即可终止。OK， 以上就是今天的课文讲解，谢谢收听。
We're going to take a quick break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Okay, here are some discussion questions. I'll throw the first one out here. What are some designs you'd like to include in your own home or office space and why?
I would like a lot of natural light. So if I could add additional windows or maybe, I don't know, maybe make a window that's kind of small, even bigger. I love natural light. If office space is being talked about, I would like my own office. I would like to close the door. I think it's very hard to concentrate. I've worked in an open office space, and honestly, in order to really concentrate, I had to, put my iPod on. I had to use my iPod, listen to music, and then I get distracted by music because I love music so much. Sometimes that distracts me. So sometimes it was hard to work in an open office space. So I would want my own office, and if it's my own home, I want as many windows as possible.
Right. We're talking about a work environment here. So if you're working at home, of course, you might have some different ideas about what to have at your home. For me, for my own home, I'd like to have access to the great outdoors, but I don't know how much that has to do with working, I'd like to have a balcony or a roof or a front and backyard, but that's just stuff in my home. Like I said, I don't think that stuff is very conducive to work. You probably need to be inside to work, away from the wind and the rain and stuff like that.
Oh, you know what I would like too is a skylight.
Yeah, light from above.
Yeah, they take the ceiling and they put a window in the ceiling, which is nice.
If you have an office that can do that, but most people work in really tall buildings.
We're in apartments, yeah.
So, you can't really have a skylight. I guess you'll have to have that in your car when you're off of work. Here's another question. What qualities and experience would you look for when hiring an interior designer? Explain your answer.
I would look at a designer's earlier projects to see what her style is or his style is. I also would try to find somebody who has some really good key relationships with vendors, with furniture manufacturers and things like that, because if they have a really great relationship with different manufacturers, they can get you a bigger discount, and that's important too. What about you?
Well, I would probably hire somebody from India or Africa because they're from a different culture and they'd probably have some pretty cool ideas that I never would have thought of before. Well, that brings us to the end of our lesson for today. We hope you learned a thing or two about interior design. I know I did. And we hope you join us again soon. From all of us here at English Digest, I'm Tom.
I'm Stephanie.
Goodbye.
Bye.